Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and if you hear any squirming in the background, that's my little boy Ronnie. Forgive him for speaking while we're doing the video, for he knows not what he does. Alright, today I'm going to be uploading two Civivi episodes, the first of the two being the Civivi Durus. Before I get into that, I want to remind the one person who watches my videos that I am going to start a segment called King Civivi. If you haven't noticed, all I review is Civivi knives. That is not my long-term goal. My goal is to kind of go through brands and really start crowning the king of each brand. Obviously starting with budget brands because, you know, if the channel takes off, maybe I'll get a chance to look at some more expensive knives and the conglomerate of those. But in the meantime, when finances are involved to the extreme, we have to start looking at the budget brands first. Now, Civivi, CRJB, Reich, you know, those types of budget brands are realistically the ones that we're going to be looking at. Maybe some CRKT if I get to it. But the goal is to see all the budget brands that's really popular and hot in the market right now. I will intend to crown a king of each one of those. That does not mean that I won't change it up halfway through and just, you know, start reviewing some knives. I got some knives coming in from Drop that I mean, you get these things dirt cheap for what they are. I haven't gotten my hands on them yet, but if they're at all what we expect them to be, it's going to be pretty phenomenal for the price. So I would be remiss if I did not give you guys a review of those. So I guess on to the review. Today we have the Civivi Durus. This little tank, I'm telling you guys, I first picked it up and I'm like, why in the hell would I want a little knife as fat as this guy? And just like a few other knives, it took a week to really get it from hanging on to it, using it on an everyday basis and such. So before I even go into any specs or anything, I reviewed the Elementum and gave it an awesome review. I also reviewed the Mini Bull Mastiff for a smaller knife. Gave it an okay review. I didn't give it a great review. It's a very typecasted type of item, right? But this one, I no longer believe that the Elementum is my favorite small 3 or sub 3-inch knife from Civivi lineup. This guy takes the cake right now. Yes, he's a little bit more weight, 3.67 ounces according to Blade HQ. But when you feel it in your hands, the ergonomics on this and the grip that you can get from that fatter handle, it's about a 0.55 inch thickness handle, and then this choke up position right here, which is extremely comfortable. You'll get it. This blade is slicey as all heck, but it still feels solid. I mean, this is one of those that if you want to call it a beater knife, go ahead, I guess, but this is one of those knives that's really going to, it's really going to change your views on the smaller knives if you're a guy like me who prefers the 3.5 inch knives. So without making this a 20-minute review, we're going to go over some blade specs. The blade length, 3 inches, almost on the dot. The cutting length, the closed length, because I'm an idiot and don't know my own acronyms on my page, 3.8 inches. Overall length, 6.8 inches. So it comes below that 7-inch mark. I mean, yes, it's a fatter knife. Yes, it'll take up a little bit more of your pocket, and you might know it's there more so than the Elementum, the Bug Out, blah, blah, blah. But when you use it, guys, you're not going to want to sacrifice the weight versus what this really brings to the table. This blade in itself is D2. Let me see if I don't know if you guys will be able to see that because it's all crud. Let me clean it off real quick. I should have. Obviously, it's oiled up a little bit. I took it apart the other day. The bearings were getting a little sluggish on me because I was using the crap out of it. God damn it. Oh, yeah, and FYI, if you guys are watching my channel and you're offended by me cussing, I will do my best. There's the D2 mark right there. I will do my best to curb that, but it's who I am. I mean, I try to be as transparent as possible, and sometimes the only words that come out are the ones that people don't appreciate. So these come in a brown, which is kind of like a chocolate brown. It's a pretty nice looking brown. A black, a gray, and they also come in with Damascus steel. Even though this is D2, they have a Damascus version. I believe it's in black handled. The regular version is going for $65 on Blade HQ currently. Checked that this morning. It's got your gray G10 handles. These G10 handles from Civivi feel perfect. I mean, they don't feel like they're, I don't know, there's something about Civivi's G10 that just feels really smooth and good, but it still gives you the grip. As I said, the weight is 3.67 inch ounces. This is a tip-up only carry, but it is ambidextrous. You can see you can swap the pocket clip from either side. It's got a nice deep carry pocket clip right there. It's got a bill on it, so it'll catch some stuff, but I haven't noticed that. Actually, I did notice it once, but again, not too big of a deal. Ronnie has something to say to us, apparently. This is a drop point style blade. Let's see here. Let's make sure that I'm not missing anything. This is about 1 inch thick. If you can see in the handle width's about 1 inch. So it is a beefy little 3-inch knife. When this is in your hands, you'll understand why you need that beefiness. Okay? But that's just going through the specs. So a little bit of flipping action. Typically, I hate saying typical Civivi just because that's just so cliche at this point. As you can see, the action, it's not super drop shutty, but you know, I think with time it would get there. It does have some oil on the bearings, but when it came in, it felt like it does now. After using it a little bit, I had to take it apart, clean it up, and etc. So that's where we're standing with this. Let's get you guys a quick comparison. Here is the Rat Model 1. And here's the Rat Model 2. These guys are off from their break. We renegotiated a contract, and they decided to work for food rather than money, which works out for me. Now onto the regular Rat Model 1. Try to line these pivots up as best as possible here so you can really see a size comparison. And a ProTech Newport. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter than the Newport. Well, yeah, by about, you know, two tenths of an inch. But with the Rat, definitely a smaller knife, right? So there's that for you. Let's put these away. Let's give you the excuse me, the PM2 and the Spyderco Tenacious. Both about the same size, but they're two knives that people are probably familiar with, so I wanted to give you guys a real a comparison of something that we would have seen in the past, right? Not to mention I'm not buying a PM3 nor a Rat Model 2 yet, so I've touched them, I've felt them, I like them, but I don't think it requires a PM2 and a PM3 for you to really get the size comparison with these things. Moving on. Take this out. Now let's compare it against some of its other Civivi brethren. As already reviewed, the Civivi Elementum. Now, let me preface all this with, I'm kind of saying the Civivi Elementum isn't a good knife. That's not what I am saying. It's a very, very good knife, especially for its size. It just doesn't feel like the workhorse that you can get out of the Durus. And my current favorite Civivi, although potentially dethroned, but we'll talk about that eventually, the Civivi Backlash. Don't all those C's look real nice right next to each other? As you can see, the Civivi Elementum is virtually the same size. You can't see it because of the way I'm holding it, but these are the exact same size. The Civivi Backlash, this is where we're sitting. All right. I'm going to try to not make these videos so long. We'll try to wrap this up in a couple minutes. But really what we want to go over here is the attention to detail with this knife. This top swedge looks fantastic. The tip is actually pretty robust in comparison with some. Let's take a look here. I just lied to myself. The Elementum has got a little bit more robust tip. But it still feels like a super robust knife, guys. Let's go into this pocket clip. Again, this thing doesn't disappear in your pocket, guys. It's a bigger knife, all right, for a small knife. It's a little big knife. We'll call it that. But I mean, the carry and everything on it's great. The pivot's a T8, and the body screws are also T8. You got one body screw right here, another one right here, and then same thing on the other side. One right here and one right here. As usual with Civivi, the pocket clips are T6s, and super easy to take apart. There's not much difficulty with anything here. Let's see here. These contoured G handles, or G10 handles, they're rounded off, but they're not like some more expensive knives. But what do you expect, you know? You got this G10 backspacer, and you do have a lanyard hole if you choose to use so. What are my overall conclusions on this knife? If you are looking for a knife that is 3 inches and below, due to legal regulations or restrictions, whatever the case is, or if you just prefer a knife that size, if you're looking in Civivi, this is the one for you, guys. If you're not looking for something that you want that disappears in your pocket, but you want something that almost feels, it's not as tough as the Rat Model 1, but it almost feels tough enough that you can toss this thing around and not give a damn what happens to it, because you know it just feels that robust. And the camera doesn't want to, yeah, it doesn't like that shiny. Shiny, not shiny. Shiny, not shiny. Anyways, that is my review of the Civivi Durus. It is a fairly new item, and from what I've noticed, it is in stock. And you can pretty much get it wherever Civivi is sold at this point. That is all for the Civivi Durus. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay corona free, stay out of the riots. And my cut is gone, so there's no reason to show you a finger anymore.